Hello, Aries. This is your reading for February 2017. I know that Valentine's Day is February 14th, so it's a very intense month. I know everyone is like, oh, will I be alone or will he propose? Oh, so many questions. And usually we know that February 14th, if you're single and you're wondering, will love come into my life? Yeah, February can be a pretty depressing month, but let's be positive here and just open ourselves to whatever message Spirit sends through the cards. Release our expectations, release any particular outcome. I think that's very important. Okay, so I'm going to cut the cards now. Okay, here we go. The first card that I have is an Eight of Cups reversed. Interesting, because this came up, I believe, I'm not sure it was Pisces, but this is about not letting go emotionally, staying put. And that, most people really, for those of you who do watch a lot of the tarot videos or know tarot, the Eight of Cups can be a card that most of us don't want to see, especially if it's a relationship, because it can mean someone emotionally walking away. Sometimes someone's taking space, especially if we want to know the intentions of a particular person. Are they going to stay or go? So sometimes we don't want to see this card, because it means someone is moving to a new place, emotionally shifting and changing. Okay. But the Eight of Cups is actually about putting the past behind you, going to a better place. And sometimes it's a physical move as well, making a move to a place physically. That's a new adventure emotionally. Okay? And so sometimes if this card is reverse, it might mean turning down new opportunities. Okay? Staying put. Betraying your emotional instincts. The next card I have is a Nine of Wands. And this is a card, note how the wands are behind her, but she is still defensive, right? She has these white posies here, and she's surrounded by earth, okay? Which is grounded, but she is still defensive because of what happened in the past. These wands are behind her, but she's looking ahead and like, okay, I'm ready to fight now because of what happened in the past. And the Knight of Wands is sort of like being very careful. Sometimes it's about being overly defensive and protecting yourself. Okay, it's about having courage and learning from your mistakes as well. Okay, so more than anything, it's just about just being aware. Okay, opening your eyes and seeing what's going on. And then I have the Moon, which is a major arcana card, and she is in the same position. She's got a wand too, this wand of fire. And the Moon is about being very vigilant, confronting your fears, or it could even mean being afraid, especially when this Moon is in the background. It's about our subconscious, our emotions, and our subconscious holds all of those unknown fears and all of those apprehensions we have, that something bad might happen. So what I'm seeing here with your past influences is staying put, not moving forward, but at the same time being afraid where you are and being apprehensive and defensive about where you are. And maybe the tarot is saying, because note, she's got the moon here too, right? She's heading towards the moon and she's confronting her emotions and her desires and what's good for her higher self. But here we turn away from finding our better selves and better opportunities. Now with this moon, it seems as if we're a little bit afraid. We're still not confronting those fears. The things that we try to repress and avoid, they usually come up out of the shadows. You see these wolves in the background, and they come to haunt us. Okay? So what I'm seeing here in the past influences is maybe a situation where it would have been better to move on, but because we didn't, now we're afraid. There are fears that we're confronting. Is this person cheating on me? Is this person going to leave me? Is this person attracted to me? And sometimes if it's better to just let go and say, I'm not going to worry about this anymore. I have no control over it. Sometimes we put ourselves in situations where we're stuck, and sometimes we get too comfortable with that. We're afraid of change, but at the same time, when we're afraid of change and we're afraid of moving forward emotionally, we end up being stuck in that same cycle of old fears, old habits, old pains. The same thing that happened to us in the past usually karmically comes back because we haven't learned those lessons. Okay, so moving to your present influences, I have the Hangman. And as we know, that is also a very emotional card. And it's about that being in a very difficult situation emotionally and trying to find your balance, trying to understand. So here's one example of that. Someone who is in love with someone, but that person might not be in love with you. Okay? And sometimes we have to see things in different ways. Okay? And keep in mind that even though the Hangman is about emotions, all of the elements are surrounding him: the air, the water, the earth, the fire. He's got this halo of fire, enlightenment around his head. And it's also about transition, that we're in this difficult situation, but from this situation, we're going to gain wisdom. We're going to learn from this difficult situation. So this is all falling into place to where we go from the moon, our fears coming out. They refuse to be repressed. So all of our fears and repressed emotions and our intuition just sort of comes up, and we're kind of scared of it. And then these emotions, then we find ourselves in that difficult situation where we're emotionally trying to get our bearings. We're hanging upside down, and we don't know why we're hanging upside down. How do we get ourselves out of this? But it's sort of like nature's way of saying, okay, you're being put in this situation for a reason. Okay, there's another lesson you're supposed to learn here, and maybe it was the lesson that we didn't want to learn with that 8 of Cups. The next card in your present influence is 7 of Cups, and this card is always about choices, but it's also about daydreams and fantasies and procrastination. Sometimes you see all these clouds, our heads are in the clouds, and we envision all these things. We see everything. We want everything we see, but we choose nothing. And this is about making a choice about what it is that we want. And note, this is 7. After 7 comes 8. And the number 7 is always an introspective number. It's about, the number 7 is about revising things. It's about inner work. All the number 7s speak to that. So the tarot seems to be saying about your situation, Aries, is a lot of inner work, looking at yourself first, not necessarily another person or this other person's feelings, but looking at why you are where you are at this particular time. And then I have this Ace of Cups, and this is the card of emotional awakenings, and aces are always about beginnings and falling in love. And so more than anything, Aries, what I'm picking up here, and this could be someone who's water, okay? This is about maybe someone you're attached to who doesn't know what they want, and it's putting you in a very difficult situation. Heading into your future influences, I have the Justice card in reverse. Now, paying attention to your major arcana here, we go from the Moon, which is about our fears coming back to haunt us. The Hangman, which is about learning through struggle, emotional struggle. And then the Justice card is in reverse, which is about a situation being unfair. And the situation might be unfair to you. Now I have this Knight of Swords that's showing up. Do I see a different person? No, not necessarily. But I do see action. Knights are about action and change. And this is about making a different decision, moving forward and getting unstuck. More than anything, that is what I'm seeing here. And then the last card before the outcome card is a Three of Swords. And that is a very difficult card because, of course, it's about heartbreak and pain. This is following, when I read the cards, not just horizontally, but I look at how they're reading vertically as well. We go from the Moon, confronting fears, dealing with our fears, being afraid of danger, some dangerous situation. Then we get an Ace of Cups. Maybe someone's offering us love, but then it leads us back to heartache again. And I always pay attention to the first card and the last card, especially that this Eight of Cups, we began with a situation to where it might have been in our best interest to walk away and take some space and get ourselves to a healthy place. And then we end up being disappointed now that we stayed put and maybe gave this person another chance. That's one interpretation that I'm seeing. But I'm definitely feeling for you people who are Aries, whether you're alone or single, that there are things that we're still holding on to from the past that are probably something that we should let go. And maybe we are giving another person a chance. We're sticking it out, so to speak, with this Hangman. But it could be that this person ends up hurting us. And note that the Justice card also has a sword as well. So in your future influence, you have all these swords, one after the other, that are showing up. And swords are always about thinking. They're always about making decisions. They're always about judgments. They're always about communicating and getting your ideas across. So I think that's very important. I think that is what the tarot seems to be saying, that, you know what, this is about, it's not about the other person. It's about you finally make a decision about what's good for you and stop making sacrifices for the other person, as illustrated with the Hangman. Okay, so shuffling for the outcome card. Okay, I'm cutting the cards. And Aries, you are very loyal people too. You're very idealistic and you're very passionate about anything that you love. And so when you're betrayed, that can be a very tough thing. Okay, so now you have a King of Swords here. And this king, definitely will make a decision. This king is not going to waver or be wishy-washy. This king is about, yeah, I'm going to make a decision and it's done. Now, whether this means for those of you who are in complicated relationships or attached to someone or who have a partner, yeah, maybe this is about someone making a decision once and for all. And if you're single, this is about taking a new direction and not being stuck in limbo, to finally say, okay, I've had enough, I'm ready to move forward. And maybe this is something that is something another person could be supporting you in, okay? But definitely as far as your love reading, I am seeing this shift from holding on and giving up our boundaries and being afraid all the time. And then we go through a catharsis where we're disappointed a little bit, but then we decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do once and for all. Once and for all is the strongest message that I'm feeling from this spread for you, Aries. Once and for all, okay? That you've been in this situation long enough, you've been disappointed long enough, and now you're finally done with it. Okay, you're now mentally like getting it together, whether you're going to end up with someone or not. So Aries, that was your reading, and thank you so much for your support. And I have a new reading, a special relationship reading, and I know it's probably the most requested question or reading that I get, like what is going on with this other person, what's going to happen. So that will be my $15 special for the month of February. The connection between you and this person, or how will this romantic relationship turn out. So check it out. In the description of my video, you will see links to my online appointment book where I have a variety of services. So check it out. And thanks to everybody who took advantage of my $15 special for the video readings. So many people took advantage of that, so that's really great. So I'm going to keep those $15 specials going here, and keep in mind this is a video reading as well. This relationship reading is a special video reading for relationships. Okay, so I hope your January was great. I hope your Valentine's Day will be even more special, regardless of what your attachment status is or your relationship status is. And remember, the best love that you can have is love for yourself. Okay? And I hope all of you enjoy that, embrace it, and discover it for the month of February. Take care, and I will see you online.